Hi, I'm Karen. We're here at Montevilla Sewing Center, and today we're talking about the Bernette B77. In this video, we're going to get to know the machine. So, to start with, over here is where you plug in your foot control and your power cord. Here we have the on-off switch, and right here is your hand wheel. Now, if you're hand walking stitches, remember you turn your hand wheel counterclockwise or towards you. Over here, we have the handle for lifting your machine. Up here, we have the lid that covers this part of the machine. Here's the bobbin winder spindle, the thread cutter for when you're done winding your bobbin, you can just cut your thread right there. This is where you put the stylus, and the stylus is used on the touch screen. Here we have the spool pin and various thread guides. This is a thread guide for winding your bobbin. Down here we have more thread guides for threading your needle. And here's your needle clamp bar right back here. And in back we have a really neat feature, and this is the dual feed. It's a walking foot that gives you feed dogs on the top. So when you're sewing, it's going to be moving along. And when you push your reverse key, it moves the fabric in the opposite direction. Really nice feature. To use it, you just pull it down like this. To disconnect it or disengage it, you pull it down and lift it back. Then, behind or in front of that, we have the lever for doing your buttonholes. This is the buttonhole lever. It gives you nice, neat buttonholes. And this is your needle threader. And when you pull it all the way down, it lowers the foot so that the foot is out of the way for when you thread your needle. Then, I'm going to put that back up there, and you've got your foot. These are quick change feet. You just push down on the front, lifts it out of the way like that. Here you have your feed dogs, your needle plate, and your top loading bobbin. To put the foot back on, you take your all four corners, line it up that way, push it straight up. That puts it back on. Okay, so also you have a thread cutter on the side here for cutting your threads. Now I'm going to show you. Take off your accessory tray, and here you have the free arm for like doing pant legs and stuff like that. If you're doing your hemming jeans, it's great for that. Over here is the switch for lowering your feed dogs. You just push it to the left and it lowers your feed dogs for like doing free motion quilting. And then to put it back up, push it to the right and start sewing, or just push needle down, needle up, and it re-engages your feed dogs. And put your accessory tray back on, and then the accessory tray has a place for all the accessories that you use, and really nice storage that way. It's easy to open. And of course you have your inch and centimeter markings on the front here, nice and handy. This is one of your accessories, and this is the socket where you put it in, so you can lift up the presser foot using your knee instead of using this button here. It's a really nice feature. There is no lever for lifting up your presser foot, so it's either this button or your knee lifter, which I really like that feature. Okay, here we have the reverse button, and it works just like on most machines. As long as you press this button, you're stitching in the opposite direction, and that's to seal the beginning and the ending of your seams. This is your thread cutter, so once you're done sewing, you want to cut your threads, you can just push this button. The machine will cut the threads and pull the thread tails to the back. Of course, you also have your thread cutter here and your scissors if you want to use it that way. This is the presser foot lifter, and you can see it lifts up the presser foot nice and high. This is your start-stop button, and this will work whether or not you have your foot control plugged in. This is your speed slider. Now the speed slider will govern how fast you can sew, the maximum speed you can sew. So if you're trying to be very precise, say you're doing a delicate zigzag around an applique and you want to make sure everything's very precise, you might want to slow this down. Also when free motion quilting, you might want to slow that down to give you a little more control. If you're teaching a child to sew, you might want to put all the way down to the slowest speed. Okay, and also if you're getting to know your machine, you might want to slow it down a little bit until you get really confident. This is your needle down, needle up. If you press this, needle goes down, press it again, needle goes up. This is your locking stitch button. So when you press this, it will stitch in place at the beginning, or in the case of at the end of your seam. You would stitch, it makes a locking stitch instead of your back stitch. Kind of works the same way. And then this is your touch screen, which I'll get into later. But basically, you would use your stylus to select your stitches and the various different categories of stitches and settings and so forth. This is your stitch width button. So like if you had a zigzag, you could make it wider or narrower depending on which way you turn it. There's wider, there's narrower. Okay, and then you have your stitch length. So you can make it longer or shorter depending on what you choose to do. This is your needle position. So if I changed, for instance, my zigzag, I could move the entire zigzag to one side or to the other without changing any of the settings. And of course, if you're doing a straight stitch, you can move that to the side using the these buttons down here. Now notice up here, it shows you that that's in default when there's no little black icon showing what you're doing. Okay, and then I think that's basically it. This is a really fun machine to work on. So that's our basic overview on the Bernette B77. If you enjoyed this video, if you found it helpful, give us a thumbs up. And if you have comments or questions, you can leave those in the area down below. We have lots of other videos here on our YouTube channel, so stay tuned, and thanks for watching. Bye.